Hello, and welcome back to your channel. It's Maverick here today with another episode of Chainsaw Man. So, most of you guys have been having a ton of fun these two episodes, eh? Snickering in your shoes at what's about to hit, Maverick and all the other unsuspecting people who are going into this blind. And, to be fair, even now, I still don't know exactly what I'm supposed to be expecting or watching here. I can kind of get the idea that something big is about to happen, and maybe I might venture a guess and say it's where the story actually starts? Question mark. I've been trying to avoid any and all kinds of spoilers and any kind of discussion in regards to this. So that includes like anything on the internet, comments. Well, the comments I eventually did cave, and I can't just ignore comments forever, right? So I did read your comments. But actually, even after reading it, I'm still not entirely sure like what exactly to expect. So I guess that's a good thing. And then of course, avoiding any and all discussions, which is really hard considering nowadays with people active on the internet and forums and whatnot. But thankfully, I am not a social media addict, so I am still able to remain relatively in the dark, which is how I like it because that is fun. And so, where do we go from here, right? So let's sort of kind of recap. Well, Makima's presumably dead. Himeno presumably dead. I mean, not even a corpse, but I guess she's dead. Whether or not this is actually a situation where, haha, I'm actually still alive, we'll have to see, right? Hayakawa is, I guess, not necessarily too much injured, but I'm assuming because he used his sword and whatnot, so some of his life force was also, burned up as well. Our main character Denji, of course, he's like half dead, I would say. And then Power's relatively unscathed, and as for the rest, who knows, right? So, I just, like, how exactly are they gonna get out of this situation? Like, maybe another miracle thing from Denji or something or another. But, in any case, well, I don't think we should put this off any longer. Let's just jump directly into the episode and see what's gonna happen. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. By the way, what I have to say still applies though. Like, I feel like, even though we're 9 episodes in, still really don't have any... I still don't really have too much connection to any of these characters, so... Like, even if they do get killed, I'm just like, so sad, but I can't. I mean, obvious. You guys can get what I mean. Which is why I'm able to still watch this, with a relatively calm expression. GG. A snake, eh? Huh. So they're all, like, have something to do with Dingy as well. Oop. The heavy music's coming in. But I have a feeling we're just about to get into the opening. Oh, damn. Are we actually going to just continue? Oh, oh. You know, I was just about to praise them for going the opening and just getting directly into the action, but I guess that's a bit too early. So what exactly is, is this? Is this opening just a troll? Like, I don't. Like, I still don't know how exactly I'm supposed to feel about all this right now. It just dawned to me actually that the antagonists actually have a similar sort of like team structure to our protagonists here. They have a human, forming a contract with devils, which I'm assuming that, like, this girl? Question mark? Or guy? I actually don't know. But and then also another one who's kind of like Denji, right? Who's sort of like not quite human, not quite devil, not exactly a fiend either. Now that I think about it, that guy should be a girl. That guy should be a guy, right? Whatever. I have to say though, like, in terms of like stylishness, you would think that wielding like katanas or swords would look pretty awesome, right? But oh, but having like the actual hilt of the sword like coming out of the back of your head, that that doesn't that doesn't look too good, to be honest. Oh, ooh. I think I feel like he's just gonna, yeah, he's gonna kill them both. That was kind of expected. I think Power's still here, right? Oh, so that's over. Oh, I guess the entire division got wiped out. Oh. See, that's what I'm saying, right? I don't know, like this entire thing just feels too abstract in a lot of ways. I definitely feel like, if nothing else, Makima's character is a little bit too prominent to just kill off, right? Nope. I mean, like I said before, Makima definitely has some abilities, right? I think that much is obvious. Are we actually going to be able to see Makima's ability here? I have been waiting for this for 9 episodes. Well, sorry, for 8 episodes. Like, if you're gonna die, at least die after you show us your abilities, right? And I somehow get the feeling that all of these 30 convicts are dead. What? That you need to make like some sacrifice to dark gods or something like that? Like I said, I have a feeling that these 30 convicts are dead men walking. I don't know what's gonna happen. My gut instinct tells me they're all gonna die. Ooh, that was pretty damn awesome. Like, I'm assuming it's Makima doing this, but how exactly? Like, is she contracted to some, like, S tier depot or something like that? And I'm guessing for each one she kills, like, each one of these convicts will be killed, right? Nope. Yeah. Gives a whole new meaning to palm of your hand, eh? And yeah, I guess for each time she activates her ability, each one of these people will be killed. But I'm actually more curious, like how does she know their names though? That's what I'm more interested in. Oh, that woman's gonna be traumatized for life. I mean, what can I say? I am enjoying this. I wish we saw a little bit more of what's actually happening, but I mean, at least we're better than those two, right? They can't even see shit. So she can't actually directly activate that kind of ability on, I guess, higher level beings like these two, right? Helicopter? Oh no? Oh hey, she's still alive as well. So I guess. Oh wait, and so he's dead? What is her ability, you know? Woo! What? So I guess her devil contract allows her to have superhuman reflexes? Well, that was like the perfect time to shoot her. Or him, you know? Okay, this girl has absolutely lost it. So is her body just able to move on reflex or something? So if you can't see her again, you're not gonna quit? Is that how we're gonna go with all this? Nope. You know, you guys really should kinda, sorta, you know, appearances and all. Wouldn't want to alarm the general population. Oh. So Makima has all the power now. Mm-hmm. That was what I was wondering as well. Because this definitely smells like a consolidation of power, eh? I think Makima's smile, like her expression, when she was notified that, you know, all divisions will now be under her control, sort of like, exemplifies that point. This went by so damn fast. Oh, actually, is this... This is Himeno, isn't it? Now, Himeno, though, I can absolutely see actually being dead at this point. Especially because, you know, in these past few endings, we've been focusing on her so much. Eimer, eh? And then, of course, the insert song is from Maximum the Hormone, so you get that, you know, that heavy metal vibe. Actually, I don't really think that's classified as heavy metal, but oh, I do find it like, okay, I'll talk more about Makima's abilities after all this, but I do find it quite ironic in a lot of ways. Alright, so I'll see you guys after this. Alright guys, so that was episode 9 of Chainsaw Man, and what can I say? I was definitely right about a lot of things, right? You know, when I feel like when you watch these anime or read manga enough, you kind of get the feeling of how things are going to go. And not to mention, I feel like the anime did, like, obviously I haven't read the manga, so I don't know if it differs or anything, but I definitely feel that you get certain vibes from how the anime decides to portray certain characters, their sort of like feeling, the overall vibe that you get from them, and it kind of defines a lot of things, right? And so including like Makima here, I feel like, I don't know. Are people really going to be that surprised that she's acting this way or whatnot? I certainly not. I think from the very get go, it was quite clear that she was a pretty manipulative sort of person, right? In the way that she treated Denji and all that. And the funny thing about all this, and especially as I was watching her abilities and whatnot, was definitely in terms of so I'm assuming right now she has multiple abilities, right? So obviously she should probably be under contract with many different devils. So probably at this point at least 3, right? Unless of course their powers could be consolidated. But at this point in time, I'm thinking that obviously there's one way in order for her to survive, her body being shot, like some sort of a substitute kind of a ability or whatnot, so or some kind of revival ability or something of that sort. So that's one. The crows, I assume like those were actually her eyes or whatnot, or she's viewing everything what's happening through some sort of way, right? She has some sort of like far seeing ability, so that's another ability. And then obviously the way that she actually just crushed them within her hands, that's a third one. So at this point in time, I'm assuming she at least has 3 different devils under contract, and not to mention, how does she know their names, right? So that one is a little bit more interesting. It could be a case where that's also a certain devil's ability, or, as is hinted at the very end here, maybe she already had the intel and she already knew who were going to carry out this hit, right? So that's also, or, it could be a mixture of both. Maybe she knew about this through some devil contract or through some devilish abilities. So we can infer at least that much. And really, I do find the entire thing funny. Once again, I think I said it before actually that she's having all of the members of the division, like the members of the squad, like in the palm of her hands, like she's pulling all the strings and whatnot. And I find it like so poetic that her ability in killing people is actually like literally putting them into her hand and crushing them, right? Like there's a certain sort of poetic, even though it's sort of like gruesome parallel here, and I am all for that. So yeah, I think it was pretty awesome. Now obviously I'm kind of like talking about Makima a lot in this particular section, but really that's like, this is the entire thing I've been waiting for, right? Like Denji, yeah, sure, he's a pretty awesome character at this. Awesome not in the sense that I want to be like him or anything, but I do feel like his character is really refreshing compared to a lot of, your normal shonen protagonists. So I really enjoy Denji's kind of character, but Makima definitely has been a one who caught my eye from the very beginning here. And, I never really believed that she was dead, because it wouldn't make sense, right? To make a character of this sort of magnitude and then to just kill her off like that, and like there has, or at the very least there has to be like a very pivotal plot reason to all of this. So it is what it is. And definitely I feel like now that I guess the cat's out of the bag, if you will, or I think this is the first time that she's actually showed on screen her true colors, like whatever it may be. I feel like she's definitely will be a sort of a divisive, there will be divisive opinions on her. I can instantly already, like, when I call her manipulative, it's not really particularly in a derogatory term, right? I personally, like, I feel like she's awesome, and even with all the killings and all that, I feel like. I always say this, like, your sense of morality should be adjusted according to the setting, right? Like, if it's a grim dark sort of setting in terms of like anime or fantasy or whatnot, like say Warhammer 40k, for instance, when you're in that kind of setting, like, certain actions are to be expected because it's just a norm, right? like human norms change throughout time. You know, what's considered something right to do or wrong to do, it depends on the actual circumstances, and that's something that I always especially when we get into, like, obviously this isn't quite like historical or anything, even though I think it is not exactly set in modern day, but especially when talking about her historical circumstances, I always say that please don't view them in, you know, the modern day kind of setting, right? You have to view them in the time period they are in and the circumstances, you know, the overall general attitude of people at that time. And certainly in this kind of world where devils are walking among people, and you know, stuff like murder or people getting killed, or you know, this kind of civil unrest is happening, certain actions are much more excusable, if you will. So personally, I have no problem at all, you know, with this. Like, of course you could say that legally or morally, or you want to take the moral high ground or whatnot, like, I honestly, I don't care. I am all for it. With that being said, though, I do find like what we've seen so far, Makima is probably going to turn out into sort of a, how do I describe it? Like not quite an antagonist, but also not the protagonist, right? Sort of like the anti, sort of like the foil. There's a literary word that describes like Makima's kind of character, but I can't quite recall like what exactly it is. I mean, who knows? Like, maybe at the end of the day, she is going to turn out to be like the biggest antagonist out of all of them, and like maybe that's post like Gun Devil, or maybe something of that sort. Like, at this point in time, I'm assuming that she's one of those, you know, the mean you know, the ends justifies the means kind of person, right? As long as we can reach this goal of, you know, exterminating the Gun Devil, you know, some certain sacrifices can be made, and certain things should be done. And you know, I find it hard to argue with that. You know, if you have like this man killer who's able to on a whim just kill 1 million people, you know, it's kind of sort of, you have to expect certain sacrifices and whatnot, right? So I mean, obviously I don't know the entire story yet, and maybe, you know, maybe Makima is going to be much more of a bitch than I'm currently giving her credit for, right? So we'll see when that time comes, and we will continue our evaluation of her as time goes on. But honestly, at this point in time, what she's done this episode, I'm fairly meh towards the moral aspects. Of course, at the end there, you like, I think the biggest controversy right now is, you know, did she actually know about all of this, and the hit on the squad, and so she basically used this as an excuse to, one, weed out the weak, right, and the unfit members. You know, if you can't survive, then you should be dead anyways, you know, like that kind of philosophy. And secondly, in order to consolidate all the divisions, so that you know, either because she believes that, no, I'm going on a limb here and saying that Makima is not like some sort of power hungry person. Like, I don't think she's particularly doing this just for personal fame and glory, or that stuff, but simply because she believes this is the most efficient way to carry out the actual objective and whatnot, right? Or she has some other ulterior motives instead. But definitely, I don't really think this is a simple case of like greed for fame or whatnot. Like, there are many other ways to do this if that was the case. So let's put that out of the way first. So yeah, anyways, quite awesome. I wish we could have seen a little bit more of what was actually happening, but I have a feeling that we'll probably see more and more in the future. So let's just, I will definitely eagerly wait with anticipation on that. And I guess I should mention the other characters a little bit, right? Like Kobeni, you know, okay, I guess that was her ability or whatnot. I still don't know like much about how to think about her, but at the very least we can see that she definitely has quite high fighting skill and whatnot. So, to be expanded more in the future. Sorry, not Akikawa. Hayakawa really didn't do much this episode, and in fact, I'm kind of curious like where exactly he and Power are. Like, you know, I'm assuming that next episode we're going to go back to like their situation, and you know, the aftermath of, you know, what actually happened in Tokyo, right? So we'll talk about that there. Himeno, again, I feel like with, you know, my gut feeling right now is telling me that she's probably dead for good. You know, in considering that she doesn't exactly have like she doesn't seem to be like an integral part. She seems to be like you know, one of those characters whose character death, well, affect a lot of people, but at the same time, I don't consider her a main character, right? We're part of the main character group. So I do feel like in that kind of type of meta aspect, she is more expendable. You know, and again, I'm not talking about any like feelings or anything. Like, I'm sure like her personality and her character is pleasing to a lot of people. I said before, I don't feel like we've really had any amount of time with any of these people for me to feel anything for them at this point. Like, even if Makima is just going to be dead, like in the next episode, like actually dead, I still probably wouldn't feel anything, because you know we still really haven't, you know, understood them a bit more or anything. Honestly, the only character I actually truly care about at this point in time is not even a character. It's Pochita. All right, and that's probably the only one who I'm genuinely sad for, which is kind of weird, because considering that we've also only known him for less than one episode. But you know, like, some things just happen that way. All right, yeah, Himeno, I do think is dead, especially since, you know, the last 3 episodes kind of were, the ending song were kind of like focused on her as well. Having this much screen time and that, I definitely feel like it is sort of like sounding the bell of her ending as well. So, that's that, right? But in any case, yeah, I think that's all the observations I have for this episode. And no, I am a little bit curious though, once again, about like the aftermath of all of this, right? Like, how come Makima did not continue to kill off like the other ability users for whatnot, or like, is it because that her ability is restricted, like her powers aren't exactly OP that she can still kill someone with actual abilities like from afar or whatnot? Or is it a case where that was deliberate and she left him alive because of some future plan, right? So that's definitely some other food for thought. But yeah, I feel like this particular musing has been going on for quite long already. But I mean, there's a lot to talk about, right? This could be considered like the single biggest pivotal episode that we have so far, perhaps in this season as well, question mark. I mean, let's not get too ahead of ourselves, right? Because I'm sure that if I say this, some people are probably like, oh, you wait till you see like this or that. No, please don't spoil me. All right, you guys have been doing a great job so far, and let's keep it that way. All right, so that is it for now. Yeah, great episode. Hoping to see more. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.